Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam. Somebody wanted us to share something on 17th sloka of the 4th chapter. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. A thought-provoking sloka. Because the literal meaning one should learn of action. One should learn of action that is opposed to right action. One should learn of inaction. The reality of action is deep. It is very, 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 very deep. Karmana gahano gati. Very important slogan. We have in our mind certain actions which are okay, which are not okay, which are right, which are wrong. So there are three things: karma, vikarma, akarma. Doing action that are okay, doing not action that are not okay, doing no action. Like that, it is very, very deep, subtle. So what do we learn from this? No? Many a time when we act or react, Impulsively we may act. After deep thought we may act. As a natural form of action we act, just like walking here now. Only we wanted to go to the satsang. That is the only motivating force. But rest of the actions became natural. Direction goes actually, we are not conscious even. Because of the habituation, the legs turn its direction towards it. Think about, we have to deeply think about it. And there is a paradoxical word here, vikarma. According to Vinobaji, vikarma is an action done with mindfully, For example, when we bow down before anybody, when we greet anybody, for example, we do like this, Actually, do we mean? When we actually mean, we revere you, that action is called vikarma. But normally, vikarma is defined as actions that are forbidden. Anyhow, here the indication is we should know which is action, karma, vikarma and akarma. So each one has to do some thinking. Initially we have been told certain actions are good, certain actions are not good. This you should not do, this you should do. When we were children, when we went to the school, when we mingle with our friends, elders, when we read some books, we conceive, we develop some concepts. These are rightful, these are wrongful, these are to be avoided, these are to be pursued. So we don't think, we can say in clear-cut terms, which are permissible. One thing we can say, that which is harmful to anybody, in any form, that has to be avoided. Let us see what Swami Rama says. Even great leaders and heroes sometimes become bewildered in deciding between right action, action that is opposed to right action, and non-action, karma, vikarma and akarma. When faced with a decision, how is one to determine which is the best response? Perhaps the action one chooses will have an effect opposite of what is anticipated and will create conflict, disharmony or grief. In that case, is it better not to act at all? Such questions occur to every person many times each day. Although the process of considering these choices is so subtle that one may not be aware of it. If one does not know what the right action is, his mind starts pondering over the possible negative consequences of the actions he is considering. That can result in uncertainty, confusion, loss of willpower, indecisiveness, delay in deciding, and the fear of making decisions. These are unhealthy and painful. In such cases, it is buddhi that needs training. If one is prone to be hesitant and uncertain in deciding how to act, the decisive factor of one's internal organization called buddhi should be sharpened so that it can promptly and unhesitatingly advise the mind and enable one to make a timely decision. Right action, of course, is always best. Action performed in a state of tranquility and non-attachment is always right action. Think about these words. How do we define whether it is right or wrong? Action performed in a state of tranquility equanimity in mind. We don't have attachment, we don't have aversions. Contrary to that, action is committed in a deluded state of mind, and even worse is inaction. A suspicious, doubtful, deluded state of mind inevitably leads to injurious action. Action that is undertaken without taking the counsel of the decisive faculty of one's internal state is injurious action. A clear-cut idea nobody will give. So the best way will be either the mind should become so active and it should give us the guidance, or we bring in the God dimension. Simple. Oh Lord, I don't know what right action or what wrong action is. Kindly guide me. If we only say on the particular occasion, we will not feel the guidance. But if we start bringing this God dimension in as many times as possible in one's daily life, we will find slowly the aperture opening up and the guidance comes to us intuitively. Of course, it is for advanced stage, agreed. But still, as bhaktas, we can try, God is giving me the field of action. God is prompting the action. At times, God is making me to choose between certain steps. In that case, I suppose instead of asking anybody, instead of relying on my puny intellect, suppose I rely on Him, I am bound to get the right direction. But the last word is very gahano. Karma, the gadi of karma, it is gahanam, subtle, mysterious. With all good intentions you do, but ultimately it need not become beneficial to others. You may not knowingly do it. And many a time, don't you think that we compromise, we become flexible? For example, crackers, Suddenly we hear the sound of a cracker, and then, or suppose you are likely to get into sleep. The person who does it, he is not doing it to injure anybody. He doesn't want to harm anybody. He does not know that he is harming anybody. And that is why we don't jump at him, we don't criticize. Being a festival. Now in Kerala the festival is a Vishu. On 14th or 15th of this month, that is the New Year day. So naturally the children, they like some fun and crackers. So we don't make a big issue there. We watch ourselves. Wherever we make an issue, what happens? We are slightly raising ourselves to a little more higher level. Even if it is apparently injurious to us, we may not make a big fuss over it. So ultimately, each one of us has to take a decision about this action, right action, forbidden action, and no action. The Lord is placing before us. That is why He added that word, Gahana Karmano Gadihi. It is mysterious. So the safest way is to pray to him, no? I think Papa had in one of his stories, stories as told by Ramdas, he makes a mention about this story. A great bhakta. Somebody, they stole something from some robbery has taken place from one house. And suddenly they saw somebody is following or police is catching. Immediately they saw this bhakta put this Tukaram or we don't know, the articles and told him to follow. He did not know anything. Always he is in God thought only. The police caught hold of him and took him to the magistrate or judge. So he was asked, why are you carrying these stolen materials? Why did you do that? So he was telling like a child, God made me to walk. God made two people to come along with this bundle. God made them to put it on my head. Afterward they ran away. Then God made the police to come. God made the police to take me here, and now God is making this question before in the form of you. So he was explaining in terms of only God reference, nothing else. The magistrate was bewildered. Kabir. And finally he was let off. It is very difficult for us. Unless we train our mind to rely on him for anything and everything, that will not happen. So he is unperturbed. At every moment, God guides him. He is not bothered about any result. Very difficult for all of us because we have only trained to take decision in terms of me and mine. That is why we find it difficult to accept that. Right from the day we started feeling we are an individual, we have been taking decisions. And we feel we are taking decisions, we are following decisions. So we feel unless we train our mind, it will be difficult for us to demarcate, this is right, this is forbidden, this is no action. Think about it. That's a question placed before us. Actions are thoughts that are externalized, and thoughts are often controlled by the power of emotion. Emotion has the power to disturb thought and to distort one's action. Vikarma is that action performed under the influence of unchecked, uncontrolled emotion. There is a vast difference between emotion and thought. In thought, there lingers a doubt, but emotion does not have the sense of discrimination. Emotion has the great power to energize a person that thought does not have. Emotion is like a blind man who has the strength to walk but cannot determine which way to go. Whereas thought is like the man who can see which way to go but is lame. Some sadhakas use only mental exercise and do not remain aware of the power of emotion. Others are swayed by emotional power without making use of their mental abilities. But the skilled sadhaka unites emotional force with mental power. He brings these together so that they help one another make the journey easy. They have emotion, at the same time also the going in depth. Before the thought comes out and propels action, it undergoes this refinery. That means we don't react immediately. But we have seen many people who have got a broad-mindedness, who are not petty-minded, they will immediately say. And many a times it is proved to be beneficial to others. So then we understand that if I am basically, intrinsically, essentially selfless, my thoughts will never be such which are forbidden. So it is the nature of the mind, the gunas of the mind. If I am swayed by me and mine, my likes and dislikes will definitely color the reaction. So we can say ultimately this sloka makes us to think that if we raise ourselves from the me and mine level, those actions are the right actions. Any action coming from the me and mine level, those are called with a selfish motive. Motive is important. Sorry. If it is done with selfish motive, they are forbidden action. If you become indifferent to both, it becomes inaction. We have to act. So right action, forbidden action, no action. So Gita is not a book which we can just read and go through, unless this in-depth study, a contemplative and reflective effort is not there, we may not be able to understand. And for that we try to go back to our own life and see the experiences through which he made us to go through and what type of decision we took. At that time we would have felt sorry or happy, but now sitting after a long time and evaluating it, we might know that every such action was valid, provided it was free from vested interest. Anything else anybody would like to say?
Swamiji, it all boils down to one fact that I always remember that God is my friend.
Exactly. Otherwise our mind will keep on churning.
Next sloka also important.
Next sloka is also important. It goes along with it. Karmanya karmaya pashyed akarmani cha karmaya sa buddhiman manishyeshu sa yukta Krishna karma. One who sees karma in akarma. He who sees inaction in action and who sees action in inaction, he is the one endowed with wisdom among human beings. He is joined in yoga, performer of complete action. That means the sense of agency, sense of ownership of the action is not taken over. Same thing, God dimension. If we can we pray to Him to train our mind on those lines, then it will help us. Yesterday we were reading from Vinobaji's one line. Now let us go a little more deeper. Chapter number 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. When a restless devotee who is reeling under commitments, responsibilities, and challenges prays for peace of mind from the bottom of the heart, this prayer will be answered. Arjuna did not run away from the field. Instead, staying in the middle of it, he was seeking the solution. When he saw many his dear and dear ones in the battlefront, he was completely shaken by attachment. But the Lord reminded him of his Swadharma. Only by adhering to Swadharma, one's expansion is possible. Even if somebody's dharma is considered as more appealing, one should not follow it. For instance, fish cannot live in milk, although milk may be considered superior to water. There could be so many points, but some few points have been, at least we should remember, So yesterday we remembered that by first chapter, the clue was his assurance to show us the path of fruition of life if we hand over the reins of our sense of individuality to the Almighty Lord. He did not run away. He asked only the person concerned. He has entrusted this to Lord Krishna. Senayor Ubayor Madhye Stapitam. No? Take me and place me there. And then he looks. Then he gets depressed. So he said, my mind is confused. So then he relied on Sri Krishna. That reliance is complete. That is how we saw it yesterday. Today, one more aspect. That when such a circumstance comes, instead of blaming the situation, instead of blaming the person, instead of blaming the objects, we pray to him for right guidance. Second chapter. First of all, we should know that the sense of individuality is the cause of all problems. When we came to this world, we did not develop any attachment. After coming to the world, we started attaching ourselves to the mother, father, slowly to brothers, relations, friends. So we have established a relationship. Depending upon our likes and dislikes. Later on, when we grow, that becomes the handicap. Certain people we like, certain people we don't like. So, first of all, we should know that the sense of individuality is the cause of all problems. The sense of individuality is centered in the body, mind, intellect, and the senses. To know one's true nature, one has to have self-knowledge. The immortality and indivisibility of the self, the perishability of the body, the inevitability of Swadharma are the major themes in this chapter. Immortality and indivisibility of the self, the indwelling reality, and the perishability of the body, inevitability of my Swadharma. What is troubling us is our feeling that the perishable body is ourselves, and whatever related to the body is ours. Although body is full of dirt, the indwelling spirit within the body remains unaffected by this dirt. Self-knowledge enables us to discriminate between the body and the indwelling spirit. One who attains this state is called a man of steady wisdom. To reach this state, wherever we find our sadhana is insufficient, we should bring in the bhakti element. To ensure that we are free from the grips of cravings and temptations, we should have constant remembrance of God along with performance of all austerities. This is essential to reach the state of steady wisdom. So these are all the points in the second. The Gita emphasizes one should not crave for the fruits of one's action. Whatever is done should have the stamp of perfection and nobility. 1, 2, 3, 4. Immortality, indivisibility of the self, perishable nature of our body. Because whatever said and done, everything is centered on this body. Theoretically, we know it is perishable. But have we become conscious of that perishability? That is the test for us. Everything is centered on this body. Because we feel we are this. What is troubling us is our feeling that the perishable body is ourselves. And whatever related to the body is ours. Beyond that we don't.
Swami, knowing and being conscious, we know that the body is perishable. But are we not conscious of it?
Are we conscious of it? Each one has to answer. Knowledge is different, We mean by word knowledge, intellectual knowledge. All of us know body is perishable. But if you ask sincerely a question to yourself, you think you are the body, so it means not perishable. That is why our attachments remain as such. Our aversions, our biased attitude, everything remains with us, We know, but we don't know. Intellectually we know, but we don't know. We still feel the body is ours. Papa used to say that when we read, we cannot understand. We are not the body, we have a body. These are his words. We are not the body, but we have a body. So the knower of the body is different from the body own. That is why he says, Vasamsi Jirnani Yata Vihaya. So this is something on which we have to keep on thinking and keep on contemplating, keep on witnessing. That is why in that talk, Haridas Giri Maharaj said, in Tamil beautifully he said, எங்கள் அப்பா அதில் பாட்டி போயாச்சு, எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மா போயாச்சு, ஒரு நாளைக்கு நானும் போகத்தான் போகிறேன். அவள் கூட யாரும் போகலை, எங்கூட யாராக வருவாளா? வரமாட்டா. He says, my grandfather and they have left, my father and mother, they have left. So one day I will also go. I also know that when they left alone. So similarly, when I go, I will also go alone. So Krishna, one thing I have learned, that at that time you should come, hold my hand and take me unto yourself. With this bhavana, we have to repeat the nama. He says, when we chant Ram Nam, Tamil, he beautifully says, Ennamo the nama solla kodadu. We should not simply, for the sake of chanting, we should not chant. While chanting, this should also be there in our heart. You gave me a body, you gave me mind and intellect, you facilitated me to know about you, and to remember you, you wanted me to chant your name. Everything is okay, but I also know that one day you will make me to drop this body. Why? Because my great-grandfather and granny, my grandparents, and in my parents, they have all left. And when they go, they went alone only. Nobody went with them. So one day I will also go. And nobody will accompany. So what is the use of putting a prefix and suffix on, or putting a label on people? I like, I don't like. I want, I don't want. Why you put the label? Nobody is going to accompany me. But at that time, Krishna, you should come and hold my hand and take me unto yourself. With that bhavana, we should pray. That's what it is. We should chant his name. So second chapter is very, very important because it goes to the very root. Huh? Huh?
One should follow one's dharma.
You have no choice, you know. If you are given the choice only, you mean Swadharma. Swadharma. Because that means ingrained in my nature. In a house, there are two or three sons or daughters, you know. First one may be an industrialist, second one may be a businessman, third one may be a government employee, you know. It is because of the guna in them, Swadharma in them. If you force them, that is why when you ask the children, no, you force it, you don't force them. What is their liking? They have come along, when they are given this body, they come along with their own preferences and priorities. It should go along with that. You can suggest.
Arjuna doesn't want actually, to fight.
Arjuna wanted to fight. That is why he came to the forefront, you know. Because when everything failed, all conciliation failed, then he has no other choice. For their very existence, they have to fight and get their rights. So Kshatriya Dharma is to protect. Kshatriya Dharma is not only to protect yourself. Kshatriya means the rulers. No, that was only because of the delusion. It was not that his decision. Suddenly, because of his attachment towards the others people, it's a short-lived attachment. So God made him to know all these things have been prescripted. You are only a nimittam. Even if you don't want to fight, you will fight. That is your nature. Your nature is to fight. So God only opened up and made him aware of what exactly his nature, Svabhava. So in order to reach that, here he gives us, for us, we are not in Kurukshetra, we are in our own field. So we are trying to understand what is the second chapter gives us. So we choose not somebody's path, a path which is, where is that board? No, be the light unto yourself. As you enter, there was there. Choose your own. Papa keeps on telling that. Be the light unto yourself, and in your own way bring out the magnificence in you. Be original. Be original. So coming back again, what is troubling is our feeling that the perishable body is ours. Whatever said and done, how many times we have heard, still the moment we go back, our identification of the body is always there. So we have to keep on contemplating. The husk and the paddy is one. But when it ripens and when it is dried, the husk gets separated from the rice internally, and with a huller you separate. So similarly, with my identification of the body is so intimate, but when I keep on thinking about it, when it becomes matured enough, it gets separated. And then the final liberation comes, it authenticates. Think about it. Remember these words of Papa. We have a body, we are not the body. Though we hear, we still feel we are the body. So here is what is troubling us is our feeling that the perishable body is ourselves and whatever related to the body is ours. Although body is full of dirt, the indwelling spirit within the body remains unaffected by the dirt. Unsullied. In the space, in this room, it does not bother whether we put photos, without photos, we put posters, whether we cry here, whether we laugh. The space provides the ambience for us to do whatever we like. It does. Tomorrow if we take all these things, it will not cry. But it provides. Similarly, Atman provides everything. It does not get affected by anything, any of the gunas, any of the tendencies, any of the actions. That is, although body is full of dirt, the indwelling spirit within the body remains unaffected. Self-knowledge enables us to discriminate between the body and its indwelling spirit. Deep we have to go. This is my hand. I can't be the hand. Oh. This is my face. I can't be the face. This is my belly. I can't be the belly. This is my leg. I can't be the leg. Body is constituted of all these things. But still I say, I am this body. So I keep on contemplating, going deep within. I don't need any scripture. All that I need to do is to become introvert, to separate I can see the body, feel the body, so I can't be the body, no? Like that we go inward. Naham, naham, naham. Again we will forget. So this journey should go on until we get stabilized in this. So self-knowledge enables us to discriminate between the body and its indwelling spirit. One who attained this state is called a man of steady wisdom. To reach this state, wherever we find our sadhana is insufficient, we should bring in the bhakti element. To ensure that we are free from the grip of cravings and temptations, we should have constant remembrance of God, along with performance of austerities. This is essential to reach the state of steady wisdom. The Gita emphasizes one should not crave for the fruits of one's own action. Whatever is done should have the stamp of perfection and nobility. These are all the key points discussed in second chapter. In my life, whatever I do, it should have the stamp of perfection, nobility. Whatever I do, it should not be with the intention of appropriating to myself. Because I know that there are so many contributory factors in bringing out the fruits of action, so I am not entitled to use it for myself. And in 18 shlokas, he brings out the definition of a man of steady wisdom. Equanimity, that is trust. Samatvam yogamuchyate. The moment we think about second chapter, one or two words like this should come in our mind. That's all. That is enough. That will enable us to go deeper. Otherwise it becomes textual. We don't want that. Karmanyevadhikaraste, for example. Samatvam yogam uchyate, yoga karmasu kaushalam, vasamsi jirnani. Like that, one or two words. Then, Apuryamana Madala Pradishtam, something like that, If we can, out of the 72 slokas, if 5 or 6 or 7 slokas come up in our mind, that will lead us to the light. When we deal with men and matters, it will help us a lot. So second chapter means these three or four. If it comes out, then we can definitely build up. I am not the body, I have a body. It is subject to perishability, but the indweller is imperishable. To know this always is called the Sthita Prajna, man of steady wisdom, because I am relating to the imperishable and acting through the perishable. I am always identifying with the imperishable in me and acting through the perishable. There is no confusion then. So Sthita Prajna, the word. I have to do actions, no doubt, but I should know that the fruit of action is not mine. Whatever I do, it should be perfect. Efficiency in action is yoga. Keeping always an equal mind, equanimity, that is yoga. Because I am that, even if anything comes, it becomes one with it. I am the base for every thought. Every thought comes, I am full. These are all some of the words in second chapter. Kindly make a note of this, First chapter, if we hand over the reins to him, he will take over. We are not running away from any field of activity. In the midst of activity, even if there is a confusion, we try to get it clarified and then we go ahead with in line with our original swabhava. That was first. Second is full of this. Like that we will try so that the in-depth study Gita becomes a part of our life. And third is Karma Yoga. Nobody can live without doing any action. To raise ourselves from the individual level, our action should be transformed into selfless action, thereby making it as a Karma Yoga. All of us have to act, right from the moment we get up. Any act. Keeping the pillow on its side, removing the foldings in the bedsheet, keeping the bedsheet in the proper order, taking the brush and applying the paste on it, moving towards the wash basin, opening the tap and brushing the teeth, everywhere. If we try to remember this, it will slowly percolate in our action. So karma to be transformed into Karma Yoga. You gave me a body, it has to be cleansed. It has to be kept clean. That is why you are brushing the teeth, you are taking the bath. Whenever you take food, you wash your mouth. Whenever you feel like going to the toilet, you are cleaning the bowels. Whenever you feel like passing urine, you are clearing out. Like that, We may fail, we may forget. You have given me a body, it has to be kept up as long as you want it to be done for your service. I make it clean. So, even the minutest action becomes a karma yoga. We find the uniqueness in Bhagavad Gita is that it touches the very tiniest. So here he says, nobody can live without any action. To raise ourselves from the individual level, our action should be transformed into selfless action, thereby making it as a karma yoga. Every action and interaction of ours should be for the betterment of society. One's field of activity should be treated as the testing ground in one's spiritual journey. But so as we said, we are having a bath. Then when we go to the bathroom, where do we keep the bath towel? How do we make use of the soap, the bucket, the mug, the tap? When we come out, how do we? Why should we be dressed? Why do we make it presentable? So far it was all self-centered. Now you are doing it, no. You gave me a body, it has to be kept clean. It is to serve your co-creation that you gave me the body. Previously we were thinking that my body, I have to earn, everything is there. Now you say you make me to earn, so that you make me to take care of, look after your co-creations. Maybe in the form of family members or dependents or your friends. When you buy a provision, you are helping him. When you buy the milk, you are helping the society. Like that, everywhere we are trying to find out, how do I connect myself to the rest of the creation? When I work in the office, it is for the betterment of the company, to the customer. Karma to karma yoga. All karmas are to be treated as upasana or spiritual practice. Although actions may appear to be worldly or mundane, in essence they are spiritual. A society where there are karma yogis who are self-effacing and have become one with the society will have discipline, prosperity and harmony. So, third chapter, Karma Yoga. Even if you forget the whole thing, there is a beautiful sloga, Parasparam Bhavayantam. Mutual dependence, interconnectedness. I have been provided with so many things, let me be instrumental in providing to others. This is the essence of third chapter. I have been provided with everything because I did not bring anything, nothing belongs to me. So having been given an opportunity in the form of a sense of individuality, encased in body, mind, intellect, let me become instrumental in doing the same thing to his co-creations. Let my life be for this co-creation. When we were students, we had learnt in Malayalam one poem. The last line is this: Bhavan adeenam paramin udalum prananum avarendum pararthamakuga pagalum ravum prabho namaskaram. Bhavan adeenam, my body and intellect, everything. It is at your service. You decide, you gave me, you provided me. So, pararthamakuga, pagalim ravam. Day and night may enable me to make use of it for parartham, for the welfare of somebody. That is the essence of third chapter. I have been provided with everything by you, and you gave me the sense of individuality platform with the body, mind, intellect, enabled me to treat it as an instrument for serving the co-creations. That is the essence of third chapter. And there is no division between mundane and spiritual. Everything is spiritual. So first chapter taught us that if we hand over our reins to the Lord who is seated within, that means the self is not, the sense of individuality is not asserting its existence apart from God. It always exists, no doubt, but with the blessings, with the grace of the Lord. So once we connect up that to that, then everything is okay. That was the message from the first. Second was, we should know the perishability of the body, imperishable nature of the spirit, and we should be equal-minded in all. We should bring efficiency in actions. We should not appropriate all the fruits of action to ourselves. All these things are covered in second chapter. Third chapter, you provided me with all facilities. When I came to this world, I came with nothing. And today, whatever you make me feel that it is mine, it is all yours. So provide me, enable me to become an instrument for your service in serving your creation. We need not tom-tom. This should be in our mind. So we are trying to enter into Bhagavad Gita so that it doesn't become a textual knowledge, but it becomes it helps us in our journey towards Him. 1, 2, and 3. Again and again we try, and then we try it with our own experience. In this way we are trying. We are visualizing there are 18 rooms. When we come out of each room, we pause for a moment and then go through the contents, and then how does it relate to me? I do some contemplation, and so that it becomes a part of mine. I'm without knowing this, God made me to go through so many experiences. Now I try to connect myself with those experiences, and then what I saw in the first room becomes a reality to me. Then I go to the second room, study whole thing, come out of it, the same process. Then the third. So at the end of the day, we must carry this message in us. In the sense, it will enable us to handle things harmoniously, beautifully, blissfully, peacefully. Initially, we may not be successful. Successful only to some extent because our old habits will come. Old way of handling will come. But again, we remember this. And the best way is connect up everything to Ram Nam. So I am chanting Ram Nam to hand over myself completely to him. I chant Ram Nam to make everything perfect, whatever I handle. I chant Ram Nam to give me that equanimity. I chant Ram Nam not to look at the fruit of my action. I chant Ram Nam to know the perishability of the body and the imperishable nature of the spirit behind. I chant Ram Nam to transform all my activities into an offering to him. Because even if we forget everything, the Ram Nam chanting would be with all these. So it becomes more and more effective, and every time we will be moving towards him. Kindly think about it. Ram Nam is not separate from this. That is why what we use for the initiation, Papa will clearly say that Ramdas does not want anything else, only your name. Because it becomes all comprehensive. Now it is not comprehensive because it is only a name we are chanting. But when we chant with all these suffix and prefixes, you made me to go through Gita only to make my Ram Nam perfect so that my move towards you become faster. That is why we chant, we start this program with Ram Nam. We end this program with Ram Nam, not as a ritual. Ultimately, whatever you have given through these teachings, it should get embedded with my Ram Nam, so that when I chant Ram Nam, the essence of it should enter into my mind. So let us all make this resolve, so that we don't feel separate. Ram Nam is separate, Gita study is separate. No. Gita study is only to make my Ram Nam more effective so that my move towards him, my move toward the awareness of him within me gets hastened, become faster. Think about it. The moment we start thinking, he will guide us. Mysteriously, he will guide us. More of it tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om. Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Hari Om. Hari Om.